Hello everyone, it's Shane Conta, your Wasteland reviewer. And it's time for the Instagram Movie Club Film of the Week, this classic review for Andrei Tarkovsky's Solaris. And this is a film that, when I went headlong into art house film when I was in college and loved science, I've always loved science fiction, and I love 2001 A Space Odyssey. I'm like, this is like the Russian 2001 A Space Odyssey, and I went out and got it, and I watched it. And I've had an interesting relationship with this film. I've owned it. I'm like, I don't know if I really like it that much, and got rid of it. And then I couldn't stop thinking about it. Like months and months later, I'm like, I have to get this again. And then trying to consolidate. Oh, I might not have this, like keep this one anymore. And then I'm like, I need to get this movie again. And just hold on to it at this point, because this is a kind of film that just sits with you. You just think about the visuals and what Tarkovsky's able to do with this film, and with the work of Vadim Yusov, who is the cinematographer, and the composer Eduard Artemev, and you just have this atmosphere created by this film. There's a mix of black and white and color, and the black and white is so crisp and beautiful, and the color is so fully realized and beautiful. And the shots, the framing, there's just so many shots in this film that are so evocative, and just like one particular shot of a character after drinking whatever the hell it was, liquid nitrogen, and just the look of, and the film doesn't show this person doing it or anything, it just cuts to this character, frozen body, this jar next to them, and just, that's kind of this film in a nutshell. Tarkovsky's not going to spoon feed you anything, and you see he lets his visuals tell the story. There's long periods of time. There's a sequence in this film with just a man driving in his car, and for like minutes, and just seeing this Russian world on Earth, and this just industrial looking world, and before we hop into space and are on this spacecraft. And that's the interesting thing about Solaris, is this film isn't so focused on the science fiction-y technology trappings of it. I even saw an interesting quote by Tarkovsky's, like, he didn't like Western sci-fi because it was all about technology and lacked emotional heft. This film is all about humanity. And you have at the center of it, Chris Kelvin, played by Donatas Benionis, who is our main character. He gets sent on this mission up to this space station over this planet Solaris. Strange occurrences, and there's this whole audio tape where the visuals are being shown in black and white of them saying all the crazy things that you've seen on this planet. And it's so strange, and sets up this, you can tell, I felt like Annihilation definitely gets a lot from this kind of idea. Annihilation probably also gets a lot from Stalker, which we'll be watching next week. But you just get this crazy world, and you get dropped on this spaceship, and just weird, mysterious things are happening. And it doesn't have to spell things out for you. You are dropped in like Kelvin, and dropped in just like Kelvin, and you're just like, what's going on here? And the other crew are acting strangely. One of them is dead. There's a gun left in his room, and this video, like, diary of explaining, like, this isn't madness. And you're just like, what am I in for? And the emotional hook of, like, him coming face to face with a dead loved one, and just being confronted, and like, how is this person here? And this mystery that lies over you, and realizing the emotional heft and the thematic reasons for something like this happening, and what it's challenging you, and being stuck with your past, and realizing what really makes us human. And this is a deep philosophical film. This isn't like 2001 A Space Odyssey, where there's a lot, it like lingers on the technical aspects of it, which are immensely impactful because Stanley Kubrick made it so. it's focusing on the deep-seated human emotions and what somebody would do if they're confronted with a loved one. And what is this being? What is this planet? And you're left in here for such a ride and an emotional roller coaster for Chris Kelvin. And you're stuck in this whole entire strange dreamlike sequence of challenging experiments on, like, how is this being here? Can we get rid of this being? Should we get rid of this being? Should we stay with this being? And do you stay with them even though they're really not your loved one? And you have all these different thoughts and themes threaded throughout this beautiful, just engrossing and mysterious film, all the way up to an extremely impactful and moving and just gut punch of a finale that's just where it comes down to one important question. Won't give it away, but you're left with such an impactful exclamation point on the end of this weird and philosophical story. And this Solaris is beautiful to look at, it's beautiful to listen to. It can be challenging and confusing, and this might take you a few watches for you to really appreciate, and it might take you time to let it linger on you for a while, and it will sit with you. And it'll dig deeper and deeper, and honestly, I couldn't stop thinking about this film after I watched it for the first time, and this is probably like the 5th or 6th time I've watched this film. And I'll be seeing shots of it and just thinking about it because that's the kind of film this is. And Tarkovsky creates that in such an impressive way. But don't want to give a whole lot away, so I'm probably going to stop talking about Solaris. But those are my thoughts on this Soviet science fiction masterpiece. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.